Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to Overtime, episode 34, I believe, if I am correct here. Just 1 second here. I want to go to make sure what episode we're actually on. Videos. Yes, episode 34. Today we're going to talk about what life could look like after this virus is all said and done.
Yep, and how we have been dealing with it post opening up states. Because for the most part, the U.S. has been trying to open up. I don't know what stage everyone is in, but we're going to talk about what they're doing in regards to the states that we live in. So Tony will go first, and then I'll talk about my state.
Okay, Indiana is reopening in stages. Now, there are several stages in the reopening. Now, I gotta, just a second. Unblock ads. Okay. Just a second, I'm trying to go to this site and it doesn't like ad blocker. Okay. Because the news has to make sure your news article is interrupted by a billion ads in the middle of the article. We all know how that is, don't we? Stage 3 was on May 22nd. We've earned the ability to continue to move forward. Stage 3 on June 1st. State reported, blah, blah, blah. What is stage 3? We're right now on stage 3. Oh, restaurants, dining rooms will continue to operate at 50% capacity. They can move to 75% capacity in stage 4. Stage 2, retail is at 50% capacity. And what remains closed is bars, nightclubs, cultural, sports, and entertainment venues, and K through 12 education facilities and activities will all remain closed during Stage 3. Movie theaters had originally been slated to open in Stage 3, but now will remain closed until Stage 4. Playgrounds will also remain closed. However, gyms and fitness studios will be able to open in Stage 3 with some restrictions. Community pools, campgrounds can also open. Recreational sports practices may begin. Contact sports are prohibited. Raceways can begin competition with no spectators, and state park inns can reopen. Masks are recommended. High risk individuals should limit their exposure and be uber cautious. uh, yeah, pretty much. Except for a few counties that aren't in stage 3 yet because they have higher amounts of infection.
That makes sense. So for Michigan, me and the boyfriend, we went out to eat with a couple friends, and this is from, um, so basically what happened was when we went out to eat, they no longer gave us menus. We looked at a digital menu on the cell phone, and we ordered. There was still like a waitress and she still took our order, but we just didn't have like a physical thing to look at. And all of the workers were wearing masks. I don't think they were wearing gloves from what I remember, but I
Gloves
do
don't.
know,
Gloves aren't going to help because they're single-use items. Like they
yeah,
touch it in the kitchen, they touch you, and now the gloves are contaminated and it becomes worthless. Gloves are worthless.
I do remember though the way the seating was. I'm pretty sure no one was sitting at least a foot or 2 feet away from each other. I mean, the place itself that we were eating at was not very big, so you can't really space people all that much, but there was still a little bit of space in between people, as well as people did have to either stand outside or sit in their car if, obviously they were taking a little bit longer to get all the seats sanitized and shit for the next customer. So what's different in, these restaurants now, they are taking more of a cleaning precaution by, making people wait outside until their booth is ready. I didn't think it was all that weird of an experience. It did kind of throw me off sitting in my car, but. that's just something we have to get used to.
You know, I'm not sure if this is ever actually going to go away.
I don't really see it going away either.
I feel like this new social distancing is going to be the norm, and I hate to tell everybody, it's gone to the extreme to too much. Because all these people, because you had like Governor Hitler up there, decided that she was going to make them stay closed longer with the protest to leave home. But all of a sudden, all these protesters show up and, oh, let's open up and I'll go protest with you. You're starting to see that a lot of this social distancing is about control. And the fact that companies are realizing, hey, you make them do it on the phone, it's cheaper than us having to buy and keep menus around to keep them clean. You know, office spaces are going to do a lot more work from home because it's cheaper than having a huge office to have a small office and have a majority of people work from home. Stuff like that. But right now, because of the lack of sales, my work's in the red.
What do you sell again?
Multiple things. We do injection molding.
So you guys are like slow then?
Yeah, we're slow as shit right now at work. Um, what we do is certain customers have us finish certain things, like they'll send us in the wire or the valve for a piece for washing machine or this or that. And what we'll do is we'll stick it on a piece that comes out of a plastic mold. So you know how like how models they have those big machines that mold them in plastic? Or you have
Yeah.
those things you get that are made of plastic. Well, we make all that sort of shit. So, you know, it gets molded, then we attach everything to it and send it to the customer. Or at times, it's just molded and sent out to the customer for them to use to their own devices with nothing else put on it other than check to make sure it molded properly. It's injection molding. Plastics. So, and we have probably, I want to say, 40 or 50 molds in that, presses in that place. All putting out a ton of heat, so in the summertime it's like a freaking sauna.
Oh wow. Wait,
And
so are you guys wearing masks or no?
some people are. I find it useless.
Because I thought a lot of these places you have to.
It depends on the employer and what kind of industry you're in. Some employers are forcing people to, others aren't.
Hmm.
It really all just depends. But to be quite honest, most people at my work just gave up on the whole mask thing because there aren't enough masks. And if you don't wash them like on a daily basis, you can make yourself sick from other things. And all that stuff.
Right.
So yeah. Um but yeah, then we have here's the thing though, we've got all this stuff going on and I'm pretty sure after the virus, we're just going to become generation germaphobe, okay? And people take it to the nth degree. You know, if you're too clean, you can actually make yourself sicker because your immune system doesn't work as well. Kids need to
Yeah.
play in the dirt to build their immune system. And all that stuff. So,
Yeah.
it's one of those things. And here's the thing. At this point, I would have to tell everybody, you don't want to catch this thing. Here's what you do. 1. If you aren't deadly ill, don't go to the doctor. Why? Because it was already a petri dish with a bunch of people sick of different things there. So if you don't need a doctor at the particular moment in time, don't go to a doctor. 2. Don't go try to visit your COVID friend in the hospital. They won't let you anyways, but even if they would, hello, you decided to go expose yourself. And 3, don't join huge-ass protests that get turned into riots without wearing a mask.
Personally, I don't think it's that good of an idea to go to a huge ass riot to begin with, because I'm like, why the fuck would I want to be around like 500 fucking people?
No shit. And they're saying all this stuff like it's peaceful, but now it's like, let's see here. Atlanta and Minneapolis are dismantling the police departments completely. They won't have any police.
Hmm.
Oh, that is a great idea. Big cities, no police. I see the crime and murder rate going through the roof. Remind me if I ever want to become a lawbreaker to move to one of those towns. Because there's no cops.
What the hell is wrong with them?
Huh? What the hell's wrong with them?
Yeah, no cops? Are they serious?
Yep.
So, like, what happens if people are speeding and shit then?
Doesn't matter. And one of the city councilmen in either Atlanta or Minneapolis told people that expecting help is privilege when they said that the police should be there to be able to help people. Who are you going to call for help? She said that.
Yeah.
She essentially said being able to call the cops is white privilege. It's like,
No, it's not.
no, it's not.
This should have never been a race thing. It should have stopped at the police brutality thing. And I'm sick and tired of hearing it be a race thing. Like we said before, no one would give a shit if the Asian or the black dude killed off the black dude. Because he was white, that's why people are up in arms and destroying shit.
Okay, the other, I think yesterday or the day before, a black man was pulled over for a DUI and was being arrested. He decided to resist arrest, steal the cop's taser. The one cop tried to shoot his taser to get him with the taser first. The guy turned around, pointed the taser at the other officer, who promptly shot him and killed him. Now, that cop was in the right to do what he did. Yeah, the taser is a non-lethal instrument, but you know what I mean. The guy has stolen the cop's weapon, probably would have stole a gun if he could have. So the police officer stopped this drunk man with the firearm, and they tried to use non-lethal force, and they were very calm with the guy. They're just like, blow here, okay, I need you to put your hands behind your back. And then the guy just went crazy. And the officers have both been fired, and then a bunch of people went and burned down the Wendy's it happened at. It's like, how is it Wendy's fault?
I heard that the police officers, besides the one that killed George, aren't
They've all been arrested.
I heard that they posted bail, though.
Yeah. Those three may be less comparable because he was apparently the training officer, and they could not defy him because he was above them in rank or something like that. I don't know. But here's the thing. Police need to be held accountable. We need to get rid of the police union. We need to get rid of the teachers' unions because you have all these bad school systems. Essentially, public sector unions are nothing but trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go in the private sector, it's not much better because most unions these days are pretty much owned by the companies that they do work for, or own those companies. And then the unions, I'm part of this union, I gotta pay these union dues, but I'm still not making any more now than the other guy. My benefits aren't any better than the other guy over there. And now I have to pay these union dues, and I'm still working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. What the fuck is the reason then why the fuck am I part of a union at that point?
Right. Especially if, most unions, at least the union that my friend worked at, he has to pay a decent amount of union dues, so you wonder if it's actually worth anything.
It's not. That's the point.
He's like, oh, well, I'm in this union, I'm safe with my hours, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, you're not.
No, you're not, for one. And for two, you had to pay all this money in dues.
Yeah.
And then if you don't pay those dues, you can't work there. Essentially, they say, pay me or you can't have a job. In a lot of these big cities, all the contractors and all the construction people are union. And if you don't pay your union dues and you're not part of the union, you can't get a job. So there was this one thing on this one episode of this show where they were going with this guy, and this guy hadn't paid his union dues in forever, and he needed work to pay his union dues so he could get work. So he couldn't get work, so he couldn't make the money to pay the dues, so he couldn't get a job.
So he literally couldn't afford to get a job.
Exactly. That's the problem with unions.
That's so fucked. Well, actually, I'm not using the union example, but I was listening to this one person. So basically, I guess they like didn't have a car or whatever the hell it was. Well, they were trying to get to their job, and I guess they didn't have enough money for the bus, which is so they needed to get to the work to get money to go on the bus. And it was funny to me. I was like, wow, when you're so poor you can't afford to
To
get
go
to
to work.
work. That's just sad.
Oh, it is. It is sad. It
And
is.
we're not laughing in a ha ha way. We're laughing in a we
We're
relate
laughing.
because we have definitely been that poor before.
Yes, I have been to the point where I have to choose between food in my belly or gas in my tank.
You don't want to get to that point.
No.
Ever.
But it's not a haha funny. It's a if we didn't laugh, we'd cry funny.
Yeah.
And they're doing all this stuff talking about systemic racism and all that stuff. Because we can only talk so much about what the world's going to look like after coronavirus. It's either going to look like it looks like now, continued, or it's going to look like it was before, and everyone's just going to forget everything.
Yeah. I mean, I'm already seeing a bunch of people going on vacations and shit.
Yeah. And the more people that get tested, the more we find out that a bunch of people already had this thing and nobody even knew they had it. So it's becoming less and less of a threat as we go along.
I mean, my like local news always freaks out and says, "Oh, well, like
That's to keep you scared and keep you in the house.
2,000 people got it, 1,000 people got it, 50 new cases got it, blah blah blah." And I'm like,
There are millions of Americans.
I feel like if I was supposed to get this thing with the type of work I do, I feel like I would have already gotten it by now.
No shit. Let's see here. Here, I'll just look it up. Worldwide COVID cases. Okay, worldwide COVID cases. Okay, 7.69 million people have had this. 428,000 have died across the planet.
400,000?
428,000 of 769 infected. Oh, I mean 7.69 million infected. Okay, guys, here's this thing. There are 330 million Americans. That means if you took all the COVID cases in the world and put them in America, you would still have over 90% of the population that was not infected at all. This is what people don't understand. Oh, they'll say COVID cases, let's say New York, okay? Mm-hmm. I'll look up New York City COVID cases. Okay. New York City, 210,000 cases, okay? And if I look up their population, they have 210,000 cases out of 8.39 million people. That means still 90% of the people in New York, and they're living accidental pause, 90% of those people are not infected. Over 90% do not have this.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go by the state, it's 384,000, so most of the cases are in there. Oh, look, we have 2.16 million people in the U.S. that have been confirmed to have this and 118,000 dead. Out of 330 million. I'm so concerned.
I mean, not that we say that's a good thing people are dying.
Oh, no, but people die all the time of disease and things. People die of the freaking flu.
Right, so...
But that's not what we're saying. But anyways, I kind of want to also kind of talk today about the stuff going on with the protests and everything else. Systemic racism does not exist. I'm just going to put it out there. You want to know how I know it doesn't exist? Because everyone I know that I've ever worked with, that is of any other race, white, Hispanic, Latino, black, they all make the same amount of money as I do for the same work. And I'm as white can be.
I don't understand. I watched a video on this one lady who was talking about Black Lives Matter, and she said that black people cannot be racist. They can be prejudiced. And I'm like,
Prejudice
what are you
is
talking
racism.
about?
That's
Prejudice
semantics to make it sound better.
Is racism with added stereotypes. But like,
Okay.
I think she was trying to make it seem like, oh well, black people can't be racist because they're black and they're like always, you know, being put down and the slave trade and blah blah blah.
And you know what I found out? That fist in the air, that black fist in the air that they've been having around, it's a symbol for an African tribe that was a bunch of slavers who sold Africans to the white man.
Really?
Yep.
That's awful.
Guys, you say all this about slavery. Who do you think it was that sold slaves to white guys? We didn't go there and hunt down the slaves. The people there made their own slaves. And you know there is still slavery in Africa. By Africans. Of Africans. Do we not get this? Slaves still exist in Africa. And they are black people owned by black people. And there are some black people in Africa that are trying to commit genocide against other groups of other black people, and they're essentially racist. As in, it's like the Germans thought the Aryans were the superior race of white people, and Japanese thought Japanese were the superior Asian race. You know, sub races. That's kind of what we're getting when we go to Africa. And I'm gonna sound like a bigoted asshole here real quick, but here's the thing. Okay, yes, there are problems in both Africa and the Middle East because of the end of World War I and World War II. The two world wars kind of fucked those places up. But here's the thing. Where are the places that became stable in the world and didn't devolve into warlords and violence and terrorism? Where the white guys and the Asians were in charge. You get where I'm going with that. It's like, if you want to make race a thing, I can pretty much point to and say, here's all the proof that my race is superior to yours. It's not, because people are just shitty, and we have democracy and they don't, and that's part of and the problem isn't, the race, it's the religion, the lack of democracy, the warlord dictatorship, all that shit. That's the problem. But if people want me to point to race and start comparing races, I can do that. And I can say all the things that yours didn't do and mine did, but I'm not going to do that because that is not the point. That just divides us more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, personally, that's kind of what this has become, a division of the races. Like, white people are like, well, if you're not saying anything, then you must be racist. Or if you support Trump, you must be racist.
Okay, we may lose every viewer, but I can tell you right now, because Biden is definitely a pedophile and has dementia, and the Democrats have been egging on the protesters and defending rioters, or telling us to still go outside and let people in from China when this virus started, and calling Trump a racist for keeping them out when they started having this virus. Essentially telling us not to worry about the virus when the Republicans were telling us to. Essentially, everything the Democrats has done, I normally don't vote straight ticket, but just to make sure the Democrats don't get back in, I'm probably going to vote straight ticket Republican this year. Just to keep Democrats out of office. Normally I would vote either third party or whoever I wanted to vote for, but this year, keeping the Democrats out is extremely important. because they've done way more harm right now than the Republicans have, from everything I've seen.
Yeah.
Way more. And here's this question to all you all you black people, all you poor people out there. The Democrats say they'll help you if you elect them. If they help you, though, and you actually get better, then they can't keep going on the platform of elect us to get our assistance. Not to mention the amount of trash Section 8 houses there are. What's the old saying? Clean up, take the splinter out, take the stake out of your own eye before you try to take the splinter out of your buddy's eye. That's what Jesus actually said. It essentially means clean up your own shit before you start trying to help somebody else with theirs.
Right.
Because here's the thing. You want to improve these neighborhoods. Okay. Stop calling gentrification a bad thing where more white people move in and whatnot. No, that's a good thing. More white people should move to your neighborhood, and more of your guys should move to the white neighborhood, and we should get more mixed. We should mix all the neighborhoods. Because then nobody's going to see race. And guess what? Racism will go away because everyone's surrounded by all the other races. And there really is no race but the human race. What a concept.
That's a very good point.
Also, you want to improve your neighborhood? Don't ransack the Walmart because of some other guy and then get mad that Walmart's going to close their stores and move out of town.
And please don't look in general. It doesn't make other black people look good, and it doesn't make any other race look good either.
You're echoey.
It makes you look like hooligans.
Laura, you're kind of echoey.
It makes you look like hooligans.
Hooligans, okay. Sorry, Laura, your voice isn't the greatest for your computer today.
Sorry.
But, no. Yeah, it does. It makes them look like hooligans. And when you act like this, you just add fuel to the actual racist's fire because you're acting like they say you act. You live out the stereotype, everyone's going to say, that guy was right. And you're going to have even more racists. Do people just not understand that or something?
No. I do want to share a funny story time of this girl who, I know. So basically, she's white. And
Are you really far away from your computer's mic or something?
No, I'm not. Hey, can you hear me now?
Better, yeah.
Okay, so this is a funny story time. So basically, she went to, and she was with me, she went to a riot, whatever. Well, she is white, but she does have a kid who is both Caucasian and African American. Well, she was leading the riot/protest, and she legitimately asked the crowd what Martin Luther King said. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you that you didn't know that?
Martin Luther King said, don't riot. He said, non-violence is the answer.
Yeah. Well, like, it sounded like she didn't know the whole I have a dream spiel.
Here's the thing. Martin Luther King said he had a dream that all men would be equal. That they would not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. So with that, right. Black man, why are you judging me for being white? Judge me by how I act, not by my skin. And I have met more black people racist against white people than I've ever met white people racist against black people. Because in our society, it's okay for them to say, hey Whitey, hey Whitey, hey Whitey, as they beat the shit out of a white kid because they're all black. Oh, but that's not racist. He had it coming because he was white. That's how we got here. Because
Oh
the
wow.
black community does not denounce that action. They say, yeah, you go, because that guy was obviously a racist because he was a white guy. Because here's the thing. People who are white see this happening, and eventually they're going to bounce back against it. And if you don't cut it out, I won't be one of them because I know enough people to know better. But people like this keep going out. The next move of racism is going to make the KKK, slavery, and Jim Crow look like heaven. You know? You know what I mean?
I don't know what he looks like, but I'm sure it's not heavy.
No, but what I'm saying is, if everyone keeps blaming white people for everything, okay, and pretty much saying it's okay to beat him up because he's white, but he can't fight back because you're not white, because he's white, then guess what? White people are going to start fighting back, and it's going to be racist. And racism will make a huge comeback, and you're going to see people that you can't have people of two different races in the same room, or they're going to stop beating each other up. Because that one guy was so entitled, and that guy feels he's so taken advantage of that they just decide to fight. Racism breeds racism. Violence breeds violence.
And we're never gonna get over racism if this cultural divide keeps happening. I do believe we're hitting close to our 30-minute mark, though.
Yeah, we just passed it.
So
Anyways,
that's gonna do it for the video, guys.
guys, yep, and we'll see you guys next week. Hopefully, we'll have something more more together. We kind of made this in a hurry because we realized, whoops, we never got 2.0 done with, and because all this shit happened.
Yeah.
And
Bye.
all that stuff. So, bye.